Hey, this is Kevin with MixCoach.com. Today I've got Graham Cochrane of therecordingrevolution.com. If you haven't seen his site, he's got a lot of really good information on there. He's got a free book that you can download that's got, what's it called, the number one thing?
The number one rule of home recording.
Yeah, well, it's got a lot more than one rule. It's got a rule for every aspect of home recording. I asked Graham, how can I help his readers to maybe get a different perspective on things, and what we came up with is that he would come up with a few questions that he gets from his readers all the time, and I would just answer them from my perspective. So that's what this show is about. So I guess, Graham,
Yeah.
let's hear your first question.
Yeah, man, well, thanks for having me on here. This is great because this is good for me. I'm always trying to learn, and then I know a lot of my readers have some questions about mixing. It always comes down to mixing because it's kind of the most complex aspect. So first question that I get all the time is, how do you, as a professional mixer all the time, how do you approach a mix?
I love to find out where the emotion of the song is, like where the song is trying to go. If it's loud guitars and loud drums and the vocals kind of almost screaming and stuff, you know that it's high energy, and you want to add things to that mix that make it, you know, get there. If it's a mix that needs energy and it doesn't have it, then I'm always trying to, from a musical standpoint, trying to figure out how can I get it there. I think sometimes you have to, from the very beginning, you have to figure out where the artist is trying to go in the song first, and then figure out how to get there. And then basically, as far as workflow, I'm a big fan of templates. Not necessarily templates that you buy out of the box, but templates that you buy out of the box and go, wow, that really made that kick sound good, except it's a little too bright, or I don't like a gate on the kick.
Let's say in Pro Tools is a good example. You open up your mix, then do you do like import session data as a template, or what do you do to say, okay, I'm going to start with my mixing template? What does that look like if you, let's say you've never mixed with a template before?
So the first thing I'll do is I'll open up the session and I'll do a save as. Because I always want a plan B. I always want an exit route, you know.
Absolutely.
So I always do a name of the song dash Kevin Ward mix or whatever. The next thing I'll do is I'll create, before I close it, I'll create a folder called old session files, and then I'll toss the old session files in there. So I'll open up the session, do a save as, and then I'll import session data. Sometimes I'll replace the old data, like their old plugins, and sometimes I'll just do it as a new track and drag the region to my track and then delete their track. It just depends. It just depends. Sometimes I'll take their track and drag my plugins up to it. Have you ever noticed that the last thing that you mix is the loudest? You ever notice that?
Yeah, you're right.
If you look at it like a pyramid, all the tracks are at the bottom, and then the background vocals are in the middle, and then the lead vocals are at the top. When I approach a mix, I usually approach it from the bottom up.
That makes sense.
So drums first, bass, keyboards, guitars, all that kind of stuff, fills, background vocals, and then lead vocals, in that order.
When do you know you're done with a mix?
When I set up my template and I have things going this way and I approach things, I have a method that I go about the mix. When I'm done with that little checklist, with that little method, I'll listen back to the mix, and then this is why I like for people to listen to the mix. When I get done with it and I like it, I go and listen to it in the car, might tweak it up a little bit, and then I have to say, I'm done with that. Set a time limit, set a budget, and when you reach those, you are done. You've got to deliver the product. If you don't, then you're just living in fear of what I'm doing is not good enough.
Right.
You've got to be at some point brave enough to deliver your goods. There is strength in limitations. If you don't put limitations on anything, then you may never deliver your product.
Yeah.
Get it out there and move on.
On my side, I talk about recording myths a lot, just stuff you hear on the internet. I was thinking about mixing myths, like what is one of the biggest myths that you would say, now having a lot more experience than the average new mixer, that people would say is like, oh, this is how you need to mix, but really it's not true, and you found that it's maybe countercultural to do things a certain way? What's a big mixing myth that you would say?
I think you touched on it too, is that you have to have a bunch of expensive stuff to be a good mixer. I think good mixing is being in touch with emotions. and being in touch with emotions of a song. So mixing is more about emotion and figuring out where the song needs to go to get the listener there emotionally, more than it is about having the latest plug-in.
If you could give like one tip or one simple tweak to a new mixer that they would almost see like instant improvement or noticeable improvement, that would almost be like a source of encouragement, like sure, it's going to take time, but what's one thing you could tell a newer mixer that they could start doing today that would actually improve their mixes and they would go, you know what, that helped and I could keep doing this? What would you push that way?
You have to compare your mixes to what's commercial and what you like. And you have to find out from your client if they're on the same page you are as to what sounds good. If you will introduce to your repertoire a mix that you know sounds good, it sounds good in your car, it sounds good in your truck, it sounds good on your stereo at home, it sounds good on your iPod headphones, then you have that stake in the ground that says, this is what I know is good. It gives you a foundation. So if there's one thing I could give you is find that mix you want it to sound like and A/B it.
This is going to be really helpful to my readers and really getting a lot of people motivated and encouraged again to get back on it, because I think, like you said earlier, we can wrap up our whole identity and this mix has to sound perfect and we want it to be good. We want to be improving, but it almost can be a source of discouragement that it's not good enough or I don't have the right tools. And I'm always trying to help people and motivate people to keep making music, because ultimately music is what we love. That's why we're in this business, whether you're doing it as a hobby or whether you're doing it for paid clients. So this is helpful because this really motivates me and all the people in the recording revolution, hopefully on MixCoach, to just keep making music.
And guys, hopefully I helped you in your mixing and then helped your viewers and then helped my viewers too,
Oh yeah.
all in this hour.